And to be honest, I found it actually. Yeah, I just need to more one practice and stuff. No. Yeah, no, but that's not so much.
Okay, guys, it's 6 o'clock, so I think let's start. Welcome to everybody. So we are going to revive the consulting club, and we're going to try and make this great. Okay. So there's a couple of ways we want to restructure the club, and I'm going to show you a few things on how we want to do that. And then you'll be able to see how you can start in, what you'll be able to do, get involved, and how we want to take it further. Okay. And at some stage, we'll get to a point where we can all start asking questions and so on. It is being live streamed because we've got people in Nigeria, Gauteng, KZN, Bloemfontein, Namibia, Botswana. Okay, so this is going quite big. And then we're at the moment, most of you are students, but there are alumni that are also going to be joining us at some stage. Okay. So, let me show you. All right, so what we were thinking is the purpose of the Consulting Club is we want to provide support for those people that want a position in management and business consulting companies. Okay, so if you want to change your career, you want to make it in a consulting company, then we will try and as much as possible to help you build that. So we wanted this to serve as a platform to practice your case studies. We heard from some of the consulting companies that USB is not very good at practicing or performing when they have to do case studies in the interviews that consulting companies invite you to. So this is where we want to now give you a chance to practice those case studies and also show you ways of how to perform in an interview with consulting companies. They have a set style and a set way that they want you to perform. So that's what we're looking at. But we're also looking at a number of consulting opportunities. We have a lot of the consulting companies, they want to connect with us. For example, we've now got a very good opportunity with Bain & Company, and they want to invite our students on a leadership weekend. They've invited us for this dinner, we probably had the email already. And they also want to come and talk to you guys about how does this, what do they expect from when you meet with them. But, and then we want to create a database of all the people. So we started already, but we're hoping that you guys are going to help us improve that. We've got a database of all the consulting companies that are currently having a branch in South Africa, and now we're building it out into the rest of Africa because there's so many other people that are interested in that. So that's the purpose behind the club. So how do we intend to do this? I want to divide this up so that we have different regions. Every region is going to draw their own activities. So we want a committee for each region, and we want to choose a club president. And this club president will be the person that is going to represent the USB and the consulting club so that we can expose you to more companies. So what we're planning to do is we want to officially meet every region to meet once a month, all right? But there's other activities, so we will then spread out all of that information so that you can join those. I'll show you just now how we're going to do that. We want to invite consulting companies, the recruiters. We want to invite experts who have been doing consulting for a long time. People that have their own companies and come and give you advice and show you once or how they do it. There are quite a few opportunities. There's, for example, the EFMD case study competition, which is great for you guys to practice on that, or even write your own case study. And they often look for African-based case studies. These are African solutions. And if you win, then you get to go to wherever they're presenting that award. Then one of the biggest things is we want you guys to practice these case studies. So we started building a whole lot of resources, and the last 2 years of the people that have been doing the consulting club have really built a number of good resources for us. And we started a whole lot more. So now you can go and see how they get done. There's a lot on YouTube, which is fantastic. So you can actually watch and see how it gets done at Harvard and Stanford and all these other major business schools. And so then we want you to take part in the competitions and so on. For example, last year, the club joined the UCT's, GSB's consulting forum. And so we want to be able to collaborate with all of those as well. Okay, so what we're hoping is to choose a club president. So after we've chosen the committees, then the committees will then choose the president. Okay, and that person will be the one that's got the direct liaison with the career service, so that we stay always in contact and stay in alignment with what we want to represent for USB. That person will also help promote the club so that companies know who we are and know what you're capable of and know how much we really want to be in consulting. And that person will also attend high-level functions where appropriate, and will be our media spokesperson, because we want to brag about this as well. Now, committees. I have learned a little bit, and 3 to 5 is a very good number to have a committee. If it's more than that, it ends up being a little bit of chaos. So we're hoping that for each of the regions, you will be able to get about 5 members. But it doesn't mean that that's the be-all and the end-all of that committee. You can then co-opt other people. You can exchange them after 6 months if you feel that's right. So it's not set in stone. We can adapt it as we go along and see what works for that region. What they're going to be doing is they're responsible for communicating to their member. So that list that's going around now, and that's why we asked if you are going to live stream it, then or watch it on live streaming, then just book in as well, because then we've got you on the database. Then we know exactly who's interested in being in the club, and we can send information out to those members as well. So if you hear of somebody else that is in your class or one of the alumni who is also very interested, tell them to book in with us and we'll put you on that database, because all the information that we're going to send out goes to those people. And each committee will be responsible for their region. So Western Cape will have all of those people and they will communicate with them, send out their events and so on. So what we want to do is start looking at who are the consulting companies within your region. Because if you plan to stay here and you'd rather work here, then in Western Cape, obviously you want to look at Frost and Sullivan and so on. And so in each region, we want the committee to help us build those projects. We have a lot of them already, but it's always good to increase more. And it doesn't mean it just has to be the top 50 of the consulting companies in the world. There are a lot of very good local consulting companies that you can get involved with. Even if you just have to go and meet them and find out how do they do it, what do they do. Just build your expertise and your knowledge. So that's what we like. What we want the committee to help us do is to share all that information. We've got a Dropbox, and what we'll do is if you give us the email that you want us to use, your personal email or your student email, then we will share that Dropbox with you. And in that Dropbox will be all the resources, all the case studies, all the practice sessions that you can do, all the events. And we also want to put all the different events. So if you're in Gauteng and you've got an exciting consulting event going on, then share it with the group so that if, say, for example, you're flying out for business, you can also then attend that meeting at some stage. So that's what we like. But we also, there's quite a lot of research that still has to be done. We want people to go and help us find what else is out there, what other opportunities, and share it with the club. And then we want to actually get you working on the case study. So what we were thinking is that each region takes a case study, and as a region, you work on that. So all the members in that region work on that case study, you work through it. There are steps on how to do a case study. We've got the information as well. And then you can feed the results back into the Dropbox, and we can share it with everybody. So that every region works on a different case study, and you can then share how you did it, what was your results, how did it work through. Okay, and then obviously we'd like the committee to liaise with the career service. So, because there's every region, we thought that with Western Cape, there's most people that are here. So we would like them to be the sort of main liaison, and there's a lot of events that we will pass on, which they can then spread out into the Dropbox and so on. So these were the people that wrote to us and said they would really like to be on the committee. And we can either do it here now, where you choose your 5, or we can take that group of committee and communicate with them later. That's up to you. How do you want to do it? Shall we do it later, or do you want to do it, just choose them now already? No? Okay. Because I'll show you, we've got a couple of different committees, okay?
We can meet afterwards as well, once it's done.
Yeah.
Of course. That'd be easier.
Yeah.
We can just have the people introduce themselves at least, so
Yeah.
whether we choose them now or later, at least just know.
All right, is Mark here?
Um,
Here we go, Mark,
Yeah, so
what's your background?
yeah, so work for Salem Investments. I come from an analyst background as a multi-manager. My current role is research, strategy, and positioning for the institutional business.
Right. Sebulelo? Maybe on my screen. Tanya?
I come from a forensic science background, but I'm actually working CEO at PhD Investments at the moment.
All right, Magnus?
Hello, yeah, I was a project manager at an insurance company. Now I'm a full-time student. It's quite cool. And I also blog for USB, which was quite cool. And yes, I'm here on campus every day, all day. So I'm local.
Do you have time?
Good time. Well, not really.
Ben?
Okay, I'm here, and yeah, I work for a technology consulting firm, which we obviously got software. It's actually a everything company, and I'm doing part-time MBA, but yeah, I work just down the road, so every 5 minutes I come here. I find this quite exciting, so yeah, I don't know, that's basically small sample of myself.
James?
Yeah.
James is not here, but I can tell something about him if you want.
Okay, go.
He's a lecturer in IT at the University of Western Cape. He's second year part-time MBA of Kenyan descent, but yeah, we all know.
Good connections. Helga? Helga here? Okay, and is it Chanel or Chanel? Also not here. Okay. Well, that's the Western Cape nominations. I tell you what, we will contact all of you and we'll speak to you guys later. Okay. All right. And for those that are watching, we're going to mix Gauteng and Limpopo because there's one person from Limpopo and then there's a couple of people from Gauteng. There's one from KZN, so even though he's nominated, I reckon we're going to add him to the committee. Namibia has got 2, and Botswana has got 1. Then we've got West Africa, and okay, so those are the different regions at the moment. So we want to be able to build each region, and hopefully we can extend all of those regions, and maybe we can find out what is happening in those countries and who's playing a role, which management company, consulting companies are there. Okay. So once the committees are all finalized, We'll communicate all of that to you. We'll ask the committees then to choose a president, okay? And then what we want the next step to do is that the regional committees meet. So the committee meets once a month, and you guys decide what events do you want to do, or how do you want to structure your meeting. Because I know in Gauteng, one of the people already mentioned they've got a venue, which is fantastic. So they can then communicate it to all the members that want to be in the club in Gauteng, and they can then, talk to them all and find a preferable date. And perhaps you can find a speaker, from a consulting club. But the career service has a lot of information, so we can help you make those contacts. You don't have to do it all on your own. Just let us know what you're looking for, what you're interested in, and we can try and set it up for you, or we can give you the contact so that you can contact them and say, if you are in Johannesburg, wouldn't you mind coming to speak to us on this and this time and that event, okay? Obviously in management consulting. But then also give time for a case and finding all the resources about it so that you can find out how to go about it. What is the best way that management consulting companies want you to present a case? Because they're looking for people that can have problem-solving skills at a high level. These are people that must be able to look at a case and find those solutions and think outside the box, but also within structure. So there's a couple of tricks that they usually have. And some consulting companies are, they're different. They expect different things. So you must have a look at what the type of consulting company is and find out what do they expect. So this is why it's good that we get the consulting companies to come and talk to us. If we have a consulting company here at the Western Cape and they are in agreement, then we will live stream that event so that all the other regions can see it, all right? But obviously that depends on them. Some of them don't want that. They want to only speak, but they don't want it to be made public. We can take the live streaming link and not make it public on our YouTube channel, but we can send out that link so that only the club members can see that link as well. So there are ways and means that we can communicate and do that for you. Okay. We want you to also then provide us with feedback. What did you do? How did you do it? So that we can also share it with everybody, because the learnings are important for everybody. Does that make sense? And like I said, we worked with UCT's club, and they have an annual event, which was really great because they have a lot of consulting companies there. And so we're working on getting the invite again this year. There are other consulting clubs. GIBS doesn't seem to have one, but we need to find out exactly what they're doing and if we can collaborate with them. BITS has a consulting academy, but not necessarily just for their business school. So it depends on if they're only looking at undergrad or if they're looking at business studies. So we have to still do that research, and this will help us if you guys can also look at that. Okay, so that dropped a bit. But you know that the email address is usbconsultingclub@usb.ac.za. We've got a LinkedIn group, which is called the USB Management Consulting Group. It is currently run by one of the alumni. So if you have tried to apply for the group, he has to accept you. We're trying to get him to relinquish that control so that we can take it over, and then we can just add people to that group. Okay? So be patient with us on that one. We do have a Twitter account. We haven't done much. I'm hoping that somebody on the committee would be willing to help us do more. We want to be able to put out articles that you can read. We want to be able to make those connections with different, and so that you get more information, so that you can find out what else is available out there, and the events. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to just quickly show you. This is the resources we've started building, right? So I will put this into the Dropbox. You can then have a look. So for example, McKinsey has their way of how to do an interview preparation. That would be good for you to go and watch and see. There are other ones that you can have a look at, the solutions for MBA case studies. Or there's the case study coach. Go and see what they say. The bottom here, you'll see we've got a couple of YouTube clips, and this is how they show you how to prepare for an interview. When you're sitting across a management consulting interviewer or recruiter, what kind of answers do they expect from you? How should you perform? So these are all resources that you're welcome to go and look at. That will be in the Dropbox shared for you. And for example, there's other resources that we have, like, this is how Harvard Business School talks about their case studies, what the definition is, how you should go about it and so on. So there's a lot of information that we're trying to add in here. I don't know if you're all going to have the time to see everything, but that's why it's good, because now you can work together as a group, as a region, you can start working on a case study, and you share all that information with each other. Okay, so, and then, we've got the database which we've now started putting together, all right? So, are there any questions that you have now?
So Edith, quick question. The last 2 years, the last 2 consulting clubs, how many on average cases did they go through?
I must admit, I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't quite that involved with the
last 2
years.
clubs. Yeah.
But in the Dropbox, it looks like there's a couple of them. The resources that they had also, that they had linked with some of the other business schools, they were obviously only for a year or only for a limited period, so those are not available anymore. So we can't actually backtrack and see what there was. But we will leave whatever they did do in that box, and you'll be able to go and see what they have done and who they approached and so on. So all that information will be in there. Okay, so does it sound like a plan for you guys? Are you happy with that? Now, the last question is, because there's a couple of PGD in business management, and they do their sessions on a Wednesday evening, they want to know, could we change that to another night? So would you mind if instead of the first or the second Wednesday of a month, that we change it to a Tuesday or a Thursday? Are you happy with that? Yay. Okay, so we will make a change to that. We'll let you know when the next one is, and then we'll get your committee to have a meeting before the time, and they can communicate then with everybody. And hopefully next month in April, you can already start with your cases and start working on some interesting information. You've seen there is the Bain company has asked our students to apply for a dinner that they're having on the 27th of March. And so if you can, please apply for that, all right?
Where do we apply? Where do we apply?
Did you get the email? You have. Okay, in the email, there's the actual email address for it, and you apply directly to them. You have to send your CV. There's a couple of other things that they want you to send. So if you need, that advice also on what do consulting companies want in a CV, you must contact us at the Career Center. We've got a couple of templates there that you can use, and because they don't want the whole typical South African 8-page CV. They're looking for that 1-pager or at max 2-pager.
So is the dinner open to Asian members, or is it only just for?
You have to apply for it. They're only going to pick the very top percent of the. There's another one from Oasis, but that's not a consulting company per se. It's more a wealth management company, and but that's only for MBAs, whereas the Bain one is for all students. But you apply with your CV, and they make the choice. So they come back to
members, sorry, including graduated MBAs.
No,
only students, registered students.
Only students.
No.
You didn't?
No.
Okay, let me go and check that. There is a slight possibility that it's only coming out tomorrow then. Sorry, there's so many of them going on now.
Mark's not good enough.
Okay?
Mark's not good enough. I would have filtered out.
So, but these opportunities are coming your way, so please have a look at it. But what we'll also do is we'll make sure that your committee then makes sure that you've seen these opportunities, okay? Because there's other things that are coming up, like, you know, there's a business associate group that's now asking for people to apply. So we'll start putting out those things as well, so that you're aware of them and make sure that you apply for them. Okay. And we are looking at perhaps having, for example, we want to get McKinsey back. They used to do a recruiter in residence, which was very nice. And then they asked for who's interested, and we will then obviously send out the whole database for the consulting club, and then you get to meet them, and you get to sit with them, and you just meet and greet up of them, you know. But we'll ask management companies to come and talk to you guys as well. Okay, so there are some of them that only want to talk to the consulting club. They, you know, because they want to focus on the consulting. But then there's other companies that want to talk, you know, in a much wider range, and that will be through the usual career center presentations in one of the evenings. You see, so where possible, and I've got somebody. I don't know if you've heard of the Strategy Institute. They're a South African group, and their CEO has said he would love to chat to you guys and tell you how he went about building his company, what he's managed to do, and how he's managed to take this company, this whole Strategy Institute, into to all corners of industries. So we can start setting up those events and so on. So we might structure your evening, say from 6 to 7, and we do maybe a speaker of 20 minutes. You then practice your case study for another 20 minutes or something, and maybe they watch some of the videos or talk and discuss about, you know, what you've learned so far. So there are many means of doing it. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, but it would be nice if you guys all got to know each other as well. You know, start talking to each other, find out who's everybody, what you all do, and then you can always talk and collaborate with each other. All right. So if there's nothing else, I will. We have an assistant called Tash Lee in the career service. I'll get her to send out the messages to each of the committees. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good evening.
Yeah,